Shadow here today with Erik Kimerer.
Hello.
How are you doing here today at AnimeCon 6.0?
I'm having a lot of fun. This is my second time at AnimeCon. We went last year. Sarah and I both drove up here, and we had a blast with it. So I'm really glad to be back. I'm glad they decided to invite us back.
You said that you were a fan before becoming a voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
What was the main area? What was the thing that got you hooked and made you into a fan?
Oh, what got me hooked and made me into a fan? I mean, I would say Toonami is what really did it. I watched a lot of Pokemon growing up, and then I saw Cardcaptor Sakura. Was like, oh, this looks like Pokemon, and that's kind of what introduced me to anime, the format of it, the style. And then Toonami would run. I would always watch that, and I think Dragon Ball Z was the first time I ever really started paying attention to the voice actors, because the Funimation website would occasionally have a chat room, like the old school style chat room, where you would go in and they have a couple of voice actors do some Q&As there. So it was my first experience kind of getting to know about voiceover in anime. Eventually, I just got a newsletter that basically said, hey, Rune Sasaki, a veteran voice actress from Japan, has moved to Seattle and is looking to teach students in the Japanese way of anime voicing. And I never even thought of it as a career at that point. It was just a newsletter. I was just like, oh, I love acting. I love anime. This really seems like something I would love to do. And the rest is history, as they say.
As a fan, was there a voice actor that you were a fan of?
As a fan, I think the first voice actor I was really a fan of, and this may be cheating a little bit, was Robin Williams. And that was not so much in anime, of course, but growing up, I watched Aladdin. I loved that movie. That was my favorite Disney movie. And really kind of I'd say that was the very first time outside of anime I was ever pointing out the voices, going, oh, wait, that's Robin Williams. That's not just the genie. That's somebody in the booth recording that. And he was a huge inspiration throughout, still is. When it comes to anime, I think one of my earlier inspirations was Steve Bloom. He was the big name on campus, and when I met him, he's just one of the nicest guys in the industry. So that really shaped my opinion of voice actors. It was a good first experience, and I'd say he's how I want to carry myself. I feel around fans, and just in the future, if I ever do make it, knock on wood if I've got any near me. If I ever make it as big as him, I want to be just as humble as he is and nice as he is.
You said that you started with anime. Do you watch everything dubbed, or do you watch anime in Japanese with subtitles?
I used to watch a lot more subtitled back in the day, but nowadays, since I know everybody in the shows, all my friends are doing it, I typically watch dubbed just so I can support them, and it's become kind of my preferred go-to method anyway, because I like multitasking, so it's nice to not be able to read anything as you're watching, just kind of listen to it or kind of glance up at it, or even just kind of focus on the visuals rather than the smaller bottom third where they have the subtitles. So I tend to watch a lot more dubbed nowadays. When I started again, it was more subtitled.
As a voice actor, when given a Japanese word or name, how long does it take you? How many practices until you say it with no problem?
It can be throughout the entire show. I still have problems with it because I studied Japanese. I minored in it. I can't speak too much of it anymore, but I know the conventions of pronunciation. So when I get a Japanese name, I tend to want to speak it the Japanese way with the R taps and everything. And the producers will have to, or the directors will have to kind of rein me in and go, no, we can't have, an American accent speaking a Japanese name in a perfect Japanese accent. It has to be American accent all the way through. So certain, like in Asterisk War, for example, Kirin, I had to say it as Kirin, as in hearin', like you're hearing something, but I would want to say Kirin, because it's just kind of how I was trained to do so. So throughout the entire show, even in the last volume, Chris Gason, the director, was like, no, Kirin, not Kirin. So it can be difficult from the beginning to the end.
Okay, so when you're voicing a character, how long does it take you to voice the character? How many do's and redos do you do?
It depends on the product. It depends on the director. Depends on the studio. I'd say we're typically trying to go for no more than 3 takes. We want to get it done in the first take, of course. Sometimes we'll do a second take for a safety if we feel the need to. If we didn't get it in those, we'll do a third take, but we generally want to get it in within those 3. We will do more if it's needed, but I'd say on average, you're looking at an action show, not a lot of dialogue. Magi, I did about, I'd say, 2 to 4 hours per episode, whereas Toradora, where it was all dialogue and all school characters and stuff, that was more like 6 hours per episode. So, again, it can vary depending on your character, upon how big the character is, how much dialogue there is versus action, and that can just vary from episode to episode. It's not usually uniform. So, I'm trying to think of all the time. I think it was like 126 hours we spent on Toradora for Ryuji alone. And that's like a 26 episode series.
What is your reaction when you meet people cosplay as a character you voiced and they say hi to you?
I love it. I mean, the funny thing is that a lot of people who I go to conventions and people will be cosplaying my characters and don't know that it's me standing right in front of them, the voice actor for that character, because not everybody who likes the character, likes the English dub. They'll watch the subtitle version, and that's what they love the character for. But I love having conversations with them when they're not even realizing it, and then just at the end, it's like, oh, by the way, hi, I'm Erik. I do the voice of Speed of Sound Sonic, and seeing their reactions to it, like sometimes they'll be just like, oh, that's cool, I only watch subs. But sometimes you'll see their face just go, oh my god. So it's always great to get that reaction.
Thank you very much for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Erik Kimerer.
Thank you. Too sweet.